and a Japanese writer called Shogo Hashimoto, who worked a lot with Kurosawa, and he at one point he was a gambler and he wanted to go off to Vegas, and he said, could he go off and do a draft on his own? And he went off and he did his drafts, and he didn't alter any of the scenes at all. He just altered the character of Mifune, and he made him into a kind of a buffoon, rather like it was in the Seven Samurai. And we translated it, and I said, "Oh no, that's completely out wrong." And whether malignantly or accidentally, he gave that version to Mifune. So when we started shooting, I had a Japanese crew, and I had to constantly correct Mifune, which was a huge loss of face for him to be corrected
in front of
the crew, and that he was doing wrong, and he refused to change. He just kept doing it the same way. I'd asked him to change, he wouldn't, and I had to stop shooting, go back to the ship. We were living on a ship, and argue for hours. It went on all like that.
It doesn't show in the film. It's a really
well. Eventually we got behind, and the producers turned up, and I had an accident on the reef, and I got coral poisoning in my knee, and I was in fever, and I couldn't work, and so they went to Mifune and said, "You'll be pleased to hear that we're going to replace Boorman because he's sick and you don't get on and you're getting far behind, so we're going to replace him." And Mifune said, "I couldn't agree to that." "Well, why not?" He said, "Because we went to the tea house in Tokyo, and I agreed to do the film with him. It's a matter of honor." And the producer said to him, "Hey, listen, this is Hollywood. Honor doesn't come into it."
Just ask David Bagel.
So anyway, he wouldn't budge.
So there's that.
I went back and I thought, now we're going to be pals, but it went on exactly the same way. The argument just continued on.
Right.
And the only codicil to the story was that he opened a restaurant in Munich called Mifune, and you might imagine it was also a Japanese restaurant. And I went in there with 2 or 3 people to have dinner, and when I asked for the check, they said there's no charge, because Mifune had left a list of people, if they came in, they didn't have to pay, which I interpret as a kind of apology.
That's a good way to interpret that.